Over the past few years, I've worked in some very interesting places as a freelance cybersecurity consultant, and I wanted to talk with you guys today about those places, some of the weird and wonderful places that I've worked from and the experiences of working in them. So let's go. The most recent strange place that I was working from was on the border of China, Laos, and Thailand. And it's in a place in China. It's technically on the China side of those borders, called Sichuanbana. Now this place is like a melting pot of culture and food, and it was really interesting. I went there just before like the height of summer, and it was still pretty hot. It was basically the same as the temperature that it is in Australia, in Brisbane, that I'm from. But obviously the food was very different because it had a lot of like Thai influence, had a lot of those Lao flavors and beers and things. So it was pretty interesting, a very strange place because it was still obviously very Chinese in that area. But the culture was, I would say, closer to Thai culture than it was to Chinese. So just a strange place. Nobody there really spoke in Chinese, which I found very interesting considering it's still in China, but they did speak pretty good English, as well as lots of other like local minority languages. But such a cool place to work. There was one time I was working along the Mekong Delta, so the Chinese side of the Mekong Delta River, which is this massive river. And, working there, watching these, little boats going past, I'm sitting there on my laptop, and I'll put up a picture here of me working there. Super cool place. And, it was quite nice. The food was sensational, so I was pretty happy. The second place that I want to talk about was also in China, but way up north on the border of North Korea and China. This was an experience. I went there in winter, mainly because it was December and I wanted to experience a white Christmas, which is something that in Australia you will never get. You might get a flood Christmas, to be honest, flash flooding Christmas or a heat stroke Christmas, but definitely not a white Christmas. So my wife and I went up to this city called, I think it's called Wayhai, and it's basically, you can see North Korea from there, and there is a lot of Korean people in that city because it's a major trade hub area. Super weird place. I think probably the strangest place I've ever been to in my life, where like I was sitting on the beach having a beer, kind of working. It was December, so there wasn't too much going on, but it was snowing on the beach, that is the strangest thing, because growing up in Australia, you get used to beaches, you experience lots of beautiful beaches, but it never snows on the beach, right? So kind of reminded me of that Taylor Swift song, the snow on the beach, it's weird but beautiful. It was weird and it was beautiful, but a super strange place to work from and be in because of the, again, clash of cultures of the Korean side, because there was a lot of people from South Korea as well as North Korea there, which I found interesting, as well as obviously Chinese people and Chinese Koreans, and it's just a super strange place. So that was interesting. The struggle here between working in these areas is obviously in China they have the firewall, which makes things a little bit harder to work with, but it's not impossible to sort of get around and do your work in those environments. For me, a lot of the time, as long as I can get to my remote computers, which are usually cloud-based and based in Australia, then I can access anything that I need to do. So remote connection, usually on my iPad because the battery life lasts forever and I can draw on the screen when I get bored, and use that as a device to connect into a Windows or Linux computer remotely, somewhere in the cloud, and then be able to do my work from there without the need of a VPN or a proxy or anything crazy like that. You can just remote connect through into those devices, which is really helpful. This isn't a promotion for a VPN software, by the way. I use Tailscale, which is hosted myself, and it's my own sort of setup, which was recommended by my good friend and colleague Rio. So thanks, Rio. It's that thing has helped me a lot. Maybe I'll do a video someday on the setup that I have for Tailscale. There's no VPNs running in my Tailscale, although that is on my list of projects of things to do because I think it'd be fun to add that in. The third kind of strange, but not really strange location that I've worked from, and this is actually more recent than the tri-border Laos, Thailand, China side of things, which was actually in the Philippines. 2 weeks ago, I worked in the Philippines in Manila, and it was good. The internet connection there it's good when it works, but not the best connection I've ever had. I had to do some work over there, which was good. It was good to meet everyone over there and do that stuff and get through all of that, which was good. But yeah, it's always a bit of a struggle going to a new place because you need to rely on a connection that you're unsure about. And again, this is not a promotion for anything, but I do have an international roaming data and number on my phone. So using that as a primary connection I know it's expensive sometimes, but it does work, which is good. That's if I can't get onto a secure connection in wherever it is that I'm working. But in most cases, you're pretty good. In China, which is where I am at the moment, I have a 4G or 5G SIM card in my phone, which has heaps of data and it costs nothing. You just buy a SIM card, put it in your phone and use that. And that's been good. I use that primarily for my work, to use for my connection if I'm not here at home using the super fast connection that I have, which by the way is like actually a pretty good connection if you think about it. The only problem is accessing anything outside of China is hard, and if you do that, then you're going to lose speed on your connection because you either have to go through some sort of internet connection or routing protocol. So yeah, that's the top 3 strangest places that I've worked. Philippines not really strange, but it was exciting. North Korea-China border, definitely weird, definitely exciting. And the other tri-border was just so strange. It was such a weird place. It was like 3 different countries in one spot, which was, I quite liked it. I thought it was quite cool. But those sort of experiences are something that I really enjoy. And it's honestly one of the best parts of being able to work as a freelance consultant is going around to these different places and working from them. And, you deal with the struggles there. And obviously you don't get the best internet connection in the world, but usually it's good enough to be able to do your work. And that's all really that matters to me, is that I can do my work. I can talk to my clients. I can get everything done and still be able to travel and live anywhere in the world. The strangest internet connection I actually had in the last couple of years was in Japan. I worked in Osaka for a little while, and it was, Japan is beautiful. It's a great place. But the internet, surprisingly, was not that good. It was, it was very slow in a lot of places. And that was even in like an office block where I was working in there, and it was a shared office, co-working environment. And maybe that's the reason why it was so slow. But because I'm pretty sure from when I read online that the connection there is actually supposed to be pretty good. But I don't know. Someone tell me. What did I do wrong? Why was it so bad here? The public Wi-Fi was terrible, and good luck finding rubbish bins anywhere. Super weird thing that I realized when I was there, and I keep thinking about it. And also how there's no one on the streets in the cities. They're all in underground tunnels, which is so strange. Super weird. But you don't really compare it to another place because that defeats the purpose of working from somewhere different. Is that you want to work somewhere different. You want to experience those differences. You want to be able to see the world, enjoy stuff, travel, do the fun things. Anyway, I'd like to know in the comments below, what's the weirdest place you've worked from? Is it your mother-in-law's house? Is it, some country that's super remote and not really discussed often in world news? Is it, where is it? Where is the strangest places you've worked from? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read about it and have a bit of a conversation around that because, there's so many weird places out there that you can work from. So let me know. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Smash like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.